Okay, another response video to BigLundi, since he's still commenting on my videos even though he didn't respond to my last comment. Basically, BigLundi, you've been busted. On my last video I said that you are saying that the anti-natalist cannot be a virtue ethicist. That's what you're basically saying. You even said in your anti-natalism 2 that what you allegedly say our position is, the hedonist consequentialist position, is legitimate, but it's just not good enough for you because you're a virtue ethicist. So yeah, you came back saying virtue ethics doesn't focus on suffering to establish whether or not something's bad. And you do. So no, you can't be a virtue ethicist. So yeah. Well, first of all, virtue ethics doesn't focus on suffering to establish whether or not something's bad. Well, what do they focus on? Do they focus on the pleasure to establish whether or not something's bad? I don't see how that works. Oh yeah, and also I found at your site, your Stanford.edu site, if you type in virtue ethics, you'll get a page talking about virtue ethics. And there's a sentence here that's in response to an objection to virtue ethics that states, this is the response to the objection: the virtuous agent acts as she does because she believes that someone's suffering will be averted, or someone benefited, or the truth established, or a debt repaid, or ... thereby. So yeah, your site says the virtuous agent acts as she does because she believes that someone's suffering will be averted. That's exactly what the anti-natalist is doing. So the anti-natalist is a virtue ethicist. Go figure. So, gotta take a break. Okay, moving on. You say, when you're quoting me, it is virtuous to not put someone in harm's way for your own pleasure. And you say, what virtue would that be? As if that statement can't stand alone. I didn't say that. I didn't say it is a virtue to do whatever. I just said it's virtuous. So I came back with, it is. I'm quoting you. You didn't actually say it, but it's what the natalist position basically is. I say, this is what you would be saying. It is virtuous to put someone in harm's way for your own pleasure. And I say, what virtue would that be? And you never answered that. So I put together a little slide, I guess you call it, that might put this all into perspective. A little slide on virtue ethics. There you see it. This is, you said before that as a virtue ethicist you take things on a case-by-case basis. Well, here we have the case of natalism versus anti-natalism. That's the case before us. And there's the two. That's what the one side, natalism, is saying it's virtuous to put someone in harm's way for one's own pleasure. The anti-natalist is saying it is virtuous to not put someone in harm's way for one's own pleasure. So the virtues, I guess, of the natalist is to be sadistic, malicious, cruel, and malevolent, God of Abraham-like. And the virtues of the anti-natalist is merciful, righteous, conscientious, harmless, and prudent. So there you have it. There's the case of natalism versus anti-natalism. Okay, so that should about do it, I think. One more thing. Actually, Derived energy responded to what virtue would that be, and he put perceptive, wise, logical, rational, compassionate, altruistic, etc. And you replied, indeed, of course. You have to approach the situation through a consequentialist viewpoint. See, you want to pigeonhole the antinatalist. I mean, he just listed virtues, and you're twisting that around to somehow saying that's a consequentialist viewpoint. I don't know how the hell you did that, but I'd be willing to hear your explanation. You say this leads to an inconsistency in how you view ethics. Well, actually, you get inconsistent by you want to try and balance pleasure and pain. See, that's back to the point where the antinatalist doesn't put any value in pleasure because it's just it's equivalent to an addiction. Your addiction is causing suffering for others. So anyhow, yeah, that should do it.